Many of you might remember a few years ago, we hosted a seminarian by the name of Charlie Wessel. And Charlie was great to have around. He was with us for about 10 weeks and got to know many of you pretty well during that time, and he really enjoyed his time with us. And he and I, we just hit it off. Like, we have so many things in common, so many things that we enjoy in common. We just had some awesome conversations that summer. And one of the things that we love to talk about, because we're both big fans of, is movies. I love movies. He loves movies. We just had tons of conversations about that. And there was one movie in particular I remember us talking about at length, and it was called The Greatest Showman. Has anybody seen The Greatest Showman, starring Hugh Jackman? Okay, decent amount. Okay, that's good. For those who haven't seen The Greatest Showman, it is a musical, again starring Hugh Jackman, who plays P.T. Barnum of the Barnum and Bailey Circus, right? And that was known, of course, as the greatest show on earth, and P.T. Barnum was known as the greatest showman. And so they made a movie, and they had all these songs that went along with it, and this was, maybe a year or two before Charlie was here for the summer. And he and I had both seen it, and we discussed it, and we agreed it's not our favorite movie in the world. Like, the movie itself, like, it's fine, but it's just like, it's very cliche, and the dialogue's really not that great, and it's not historically accurate, like, at all to who P.T. Barnum really was. But the music in that movie is just stellar. I mean, it is amazing. The music, so don't watch the movie. Listen to the album. Like, it is incredible, the music. And as we were talking, Charlie made the point, he said, "Father, have you ever listened to that album, not as if it's referring to P.T. Barnum and the circus and all that stuff, but have you ever listened to it thinking, maybe the greatest showman in the world is really Jesus Christ? And all these songs and the music and the lyrics, it's about Jesus and his ministry and calling disciples." I was like, well, no, of course I didn't. But I listened to it, and I was just like, Charlie, you're right. I mean, it is unreal. These lyrics, I mean, it's like prayers, or it's like Christ speaking to us, desiring us to see him. And so, as I listened to these songs, I thought to myself, well, they need to remake the movie. Right, because the movie, like I said, was okay, but get rid of the Barnum and Bailey Circus and The Greatest Show and all that stuff, and why don't we have these songs go with a story about Christ? And then I read this gospel, and I was just like, it's a gold mine. Like, this is it. Like, this is the story that fits this music perfectly. So imagine this. Imagine the scene is set, right? We have the woman at the well from Samaria, and she's sitting there and has no clue that Christ is coming, right? But Jesus Christ shows up on the scene and approaches her, right? And he is the greatest showman in the world. He has the greatest thing to give, which is his very self, the living water that wells up within us. And he introduces himself, right? And wants her to have what we have, right? What we do every weekend, this is the greatest show on earth. The Mass is the greatest show on earth. So here's the opening song from the show called The Greatest Show. And imagine Christ walking in, and he's introducing himself, and he's trying to reach out to this woman, right? "Ladies and gents, this is the moment you've waited for. Been searching in the dark, your sweat soaking through the floor. And buried in your bones, there's an ache that you can't ignore, taking your breath, stealing your mind, and all that is real is left behind. Don't fight it, it's coming for you, running at you. It's only this moment, don't care what comes after. Your fever dream, can't you see it getting closer? Just surrender, 'cause you feel the feeling taking over. It's fire, it's freedom, it's flooding open. It's a preacher in the pulpit and you find devotion. There's something breaking at the brick of every wall, it's holding all that you know. So tell me, do you want to go where it's covered in all the colored lights, where the runaways are running the night? Impossible comes true, it's taking over you. This is the greatest show, we light it up, we won't come down. And the sun can't stop us now, watching it come true, it's taking over you. This is the greatest show, it's everything you ever want. It's everything you ever need, it's here right in front of you. This is where you want to be, it's everything you ever want. It's everything you ever need. It's here right in front of you. This is where you want to be. This is the greatest show. So Jesus shows up, right? And he's like, I am the greatest show, right? And he's talking to this woman. And she's kind of, hesitant at first, right? Like, he's talking about this living water. She's a little curious, but kind of put offish, right? So we move to the next song that'll show up on set, right? So Christ is asking her to follow him, right? Like, I have what you're looking for. Like, leave your old life behind and come after me. So this is the part in the movie when Barnum is appealing to Bailey to follow him. So this first part, it's Jesus talking to her, and he's just like, right here, right now, I put the offer out. I don't want to chase you down. I know you see it. You run with me, and I can cut you free out of the drudgery and walls you keep in. So trade that typical for something colorful. And if it's crazy, live a little crazy. You can play it sensible, the king of conventional, or you can risk it all and see. Don't you want to get away from the same old part you gotta play? 'Cause I got what you need, so come with me and take the ride. He'll take you to the other side, 'cause you can do like you do, or you can do like me. Stay in the cage, or you finally take the key. Oh, slam, suddenly you're free to fly. He'll take you to the other side. And then she responds, because she's not all in yet, and she's just like, okay, my friend, you want to cut me in? Well, I hate to tell you, but it just won't happen. So thanks, but no, I think I'm good to go, 'cause I quite enjoy the life you say I'm trapped in. Now I admire you and that whole show you do. You're onto something, really it's something. But I live among the swells and we don't pick up peanut shells. I'll have to leave that up to you. Don't you know that I'm okay with this uptown part I get to play? 'Cause I got what I need and I don't want to take the ride. I don't need to see the other side. So go and do like you do. I'm good to do like me. Ain't in a cage, so I don't even need the key. Oh, slam, can't you see I'm doing fine? I don't need to see the other side. And then Jesus jumps in again and he's just like, but you would finally live a little, finally laugh a little. Just let me give you the freedom to dream, and it'll wake you up and cure your aching. Take your walls and start 'em breaking. Now that's a deal that seems worth taking. But I guess I'll leave that up to you. So now she's intrigued, right? And she realizes in this conversation, this back and forth between her and this random stranger that has shown up, that she feels different, right? Like there's something here that is different from anything she's experienced in her life. And in fact, she starts looking at her life, and she sees that there has been nothing in her life that compares to this guy. That everything else she's ever done, ever had, that she thought fulfilled her and brought her happiness is like ash in her mouth compared to this man. And she's tempted by it because she realizes everything else in this world will never be enough for her. It will never be enough because he has it all. So then we have the song, Never Enough, that she's going to sing. I'm trying to hold my breath, let it stay this way. Can't let this moment end. You set off a dream in me, getting louder now. Can you hear it echoing? Take my hand, will you share this with me? 'Cause darling, without you, all the shine of 1,000 spotlights, all the stars that we steal from the night sky will never be enough, never be enough. Towers of gold are still too little. These hands could hold the world, but it'll never be enough, never be enough for me. And then all of a sudden, Christ does something crazy here, right? She's in, she's hooked, she's interested, but then Christ calls her out for all of her sins. And he says, go tell your husband. And she's like, I don't have a husband. And he's like, yes, you do. Well, no, you don't. You've had 5 husbands, and the one you're with, he's not really your husband. And you would think that would just throw her to the wayside. And she'd be like, I'm done. You've called out the worst things I've done in my life. But what she realizes is he's calling her out. He knows everything she's done, the worst thing she's done, and he still wants to give her this gift of living water. In spite of that, he still wants her to follow him. And so she realizes he is asking her to leave behind her old life, leave it all behind in ruins and rubble, because there's something new here. And from now on, she is going to be filled with living water that quenches her thirst and fulfills every desire. So she realizes, I have to let the old die and make this new thing live. And so we have the song, From Now On, that she sings. And then the whole village shows up, and it's like this whole chorus. It's going to be awesome. I saw the sun begin to dim and felt the winter wind blow cold. A man learns who is there for him when the glitter fades and the walls won't hold. 'Cause from that rubble what remains can only be what's true. If all was lost, there's more I gained, 'cause it led me back to you. From now on, these eyes will not be blinded by the lights. From now on, what's waited till tomorrow starts tonight. Tonight, let this promise in me start like an anthem in my heart. From now on. From now on. And then we go over to Hugh Jackman because he's a much better singer than me. And we got the village come out and it's the chorus. And it's just awesome. And then the villagers show up and they're saying, we're back home again because it's Jesus. And then the villagers show up and they're saying, we're back home again because it's Jesus. and that's how it ends. Jesus Christ is the greatest showman in the world because what he has to show us is miraculous. It's otherworldly. It's transcendent. It is his own being, his flesh and blood that he gives us, the living water that wells up within us. As the villagers and this woman recognize at the end of today's gospel, we know that he is truly the Savior of the world. So let us come to the greatest show on earth, where the greatest showman in the world gives us his very self. Amen.